about fixing American politics. So welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be back, Kristen.
Yeah, why are you back in the Bay Area? What's going on?
I'm back in the Bay Area for a number of reasons. Some of it's visiting family, but most of it is trying to fix politics starting right here in the Golden State. And what I concluded after I ran for president was that our political system right now is not actually driving solutions. What is it driving? It's driving stasis, polarization, people fighting over ideological differences that really don't solve our problems, whether that's the homelessness on our streets or education or affordability. And so we've started the Forward Party nationwide to give people a new path. It's not left or right, but forward, which is where most Californians and Americans want to go.
Right. So you founded the party with Christine Todd Whitman, right, former governor of New Jersey. That was 1 year ago, I think, right?
Yeah, we're about to celebrate our 1 year anniversary, and we have some very exciting things on tap.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Before we get to the exciting things, make people wait for the exciting things. What is the party about? Is there a platform? Or do you have positions on issues ranging from gun control to abortion?
Well, the platform is about unifying what people want and what they get. And right now, you can want various things and you're probably not getting it. That can apply to social issues, yes, but it can also apply to some of the issues I cited earlier around homelessness or substance abuse. Here in San Francisco, you all know, there are national stories about the state of the city. You've had many retail businesses shut down, in part because tourists are avoiding the city. When I came into the studio, there was a sign on a window saying, please don't break this window because there's nothing in the car worth stealing. So the question is, what direction is San Francisco going to go, and what influence can we have on the future of our communities? Right now, there's a political class that essentially pats you on the head and says, hey, you're stuck with us, good or bad.
Okay, so a lot of people think that is true, that the two-party system, you sometimes get that. And the issues you cited are real issues that the Bay Area is dealing with. But how does the Forward Party execute its work? I guess, what do you do to enable people to solve those problems if you're not, I mean, if I'm understanding correctly, you don't run your own candidates, do you?
Oh, in some cases we do. And here in California, we had both Democratic and Republican congressional candidates say we want to be forward Democrats and forward Republicans. Here in San Francisco, if you wanted to raise your hand and say, I'm for this new approach, you can go to cacommonsense.org and join the Common Sense Party of California, which is the Forward Alliance member here in California. And imagine someone running for office who doesn't owe the party machine anything, and if they get into office, all they want to do is deliver what you and your families want.
Right. Okay, so then how does one become a forward candidate, right? What are the things that you say, oh, I agree with this, this is what I espouse to, sign me up?
So if you want to become aligned with the Forward Party, the first thing you have to say is, I am for trying to get out of the trap, the yoke of the two-party system. I'm for things like ranked choice voting that open up the system, make it more dynamic, nonpartisan primaries. And here in California, you already have a version of this in the top two. But it's also
which translates into top two being Democrats, usually, in the state offices anyway.
Well, which is an issue, I'm going to suggest. I mean, at this point, about half of Americans say they're independents, and they aren't excited about what other party is doing. So if you can attest to the fact that, look, I want to open up the system, and also I want to deliver solutions regardless of the source. I'm willing to work with people across the aisle. I don't think that either party has it all figured out. Then that may make you a forward candidate, and then you can come join us at forwardparty.com.
All right, so these two parties don't have all the answers. That sounds a little bit similar, at least in that regard, with No Labels, which is the party that's been getting some attention, saying they may run a ticket if they find that neither party produces a nominee that the middle, they believe, can live with. How are you different from No Labels?
We are exactly different from No Labels in the sense that No Labels is taking a swing at the presidential, and we are everything but the presidential. So we're
like state, local?
We're about school board, city council, county executive, mayoral, any race that might affect your life right here in California. The Forward Party wants to give you a real choice.
Wait, so are you saying a school board candidate, it doesn't matter if they believe these textbooks on LGBTQ issues belong in their schools or should be banned. It's really just about if they believe in ranked choice voting?
No, it's about whether they don't want to engage in the ideological back and forth and they want to do what the community wants. And I'm going to actually raise an example where there was a school board race here in California. There were 4 candidates. The Democratic Party endorsed the person who was on the far left. The Republican Party endorsed the person on the far right. They won. Now they yell at each other and can't get anything done. And the 2 people in the middle probably would have been what most people would have chosen if they had a real sense as to what the people were about. So in the future, the Forward Party can endorse those 2 people in the middle, and then you can show up and say, okay, I kind of have a sense of what these 2 people are about. They kind of want to make things work, and they don't think the ideological battles are working.
Right. So usually with a third party, the accusation and fear is often that it could play spoiler. In the way that you envision this going, can it possibly?
Well, the spoiler concern is grounded mainly in the presidential, and as you said, we're not involved in the presidential. But the reality here in California and around the country is you have one-party rule. 75% of the country has one party in charge, and then they pretend and say, oh, you know why you're pissed off and upset? It's because of those people over there. There really is no one over there to blame.
Right.
And so the question is, why are 35 to 40% of Californians thinking of leaving the state? And is it because of Republicans? I'm going to suggest it's not. It's because your leaders aren't actually accountable to you. And this pretend accountability means the problems just get worse instead of better.
So how do you envision your work being done for 2024 as we get into election season?
We have 15 elected officials who have already said, look, I'm with the Forward Party. We think that number is going to go to 50 before the end of the year and then 500 next year. And I want you to imagine here in California an army of elected officials from your community on up who say, I don't answer to the party bosses. I answer to you, the people of California. That's what we can achieve. If you go to cacommonsense.org, we already have about half of the 73,000 registrants we need to be an official party here in California.
All right. I want to talk to you about UBI, obviously. That's what you started with and what a lot of people will always associate you with. Are you still putting work in to try to get widespread adoption of that?
Yeah, I still have people in D.C. who are lobbying for the enhanced child tax credit and cash relief. And that's what motivates me in large part around the Forward Party, is that if you imagine trying to address AI or climate change or homelessness or any of the intractable problems, seemingly intractable problems, the fact is our political class does not need to deliver solutions in order to keep their office. And that is true for poverty, too. So if we want real solutions on climate change and the rest of it, we're going to need to change our political system.
I want to talk to you also about something else you brought up in 2019 when you were here, and that was the fact that technology was taking away millions of jobs, and you warned that that could have political consequences.
Yep.
And at the time, we were mainly thinking call center jobs, trucking jobs, but now we're seeing, just in the last 6 months, really technology jobs, coding jobs, and, affecting us here in the Bay Area. What do you think is the solution?
I think we need to humanize our economy as quickly as possible. That's why I ran for president. That's why the Forward Party exists, at least for me, because it's going to get worse, not better. Right now...
What does that mean, humanize?
It means not evaluating everyone's worth based on what the market says we're worth, because the market's going to dismiss more and more of us because AI is going to be able to do our jobs. This is true for caregivers at home right now, but it's going to apply to coders and designers and a lot of other people.
News anchors. Go on.
You'll be the last to go, Kristen.
Okay.
But people will sense the AI, Kristen, and not accept it.
I hope so.
But if you look at what's happening in Los Angeles right now, there are 160,000 actors and 12,000 writers on strike, in large part because of AI. Because the studios are saying, look, we want to bring you in and then use your likeness for whatever we want, or your script, and the writers and actors are rightfully saying, that's not the future I want. But there are very, very few white-collar workers that are unionized in that way. Yeah,
we could talk about AI for probably a whole half hour, but I've got 10 seconds, got to go. Could you see yourself running for office again?
As long as my wife is into it.
That's always the right answer. Andrew Yang, thank you so much for coming in, co-founder of the Forward Party.